Welcome in, Cowboys Nation, to the Game Day Live post-game show brought to you by BT Furnishings. The Cowboys get the dub, 33-10. We did have the here we go after all with Cooper Rush.
What did you invite?
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we are. Gather around
as we end the game.
This is what we're supposed to do.
It wasn't as clean as we might have thought it would be. And to be honest, personally, I figured this would be a bit of a mucky game for a little bit. Then you get to the fourth quarter with a double-digit lead, and you put it away. Well, Duron, anything but Bland, pretty much started that with the pick six at the fourth quarter to go ahead 30-10. Yeah, we can go ahead and do a little something on that one there because he did it again. 4 pick sixes, ties the record for the NFL. I personally think he's going to break it, man. I mean, this dude is just exceptional. I think he can do everything you want at the cornerback position, inside, outside.
You know, it just hit me. Like, you talk about a team going on a historical run, and we think about, what was the defense? Well, a week ago, Dak entered history where he became the 4th quarterback to have 400 yards passing game, 10 400-yard passing games. CeeDee Lamb became a part of history with the 3 straight games of 10 receptions of 100 yards or more.
Yeah.
And then now you're talking about Duron Bland is on the precipice.
He's tied the record at least.
He's tied the record. Yeah. And with we talked about it off air, like Josh Allen may give you one, Jalen Hurts can give you one,
Jared Goff
can give you one.
They got some quarterbacks.
I mean, there's some quarterbacks that are coming along. Geno Smith might give you one. So Duron Bland might be breaking the record. And then today, I guess it's a personal record. All the years it's taken to get Jimmy Johnson into
there we go.
the Ring of Honor. I mean, this thing might be
a little stitious, man. It's a little stitious.
I've never been one to this is our year type thing, but you start seeing little signs of things happening. You might be like, you know what?
Shouts out to our guy Big E, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man. See y'all next week.
Big E, Lil E. Appreciate you guys, man.
Big E, Lil E. Yeah, man. What was it? It ended up being a fun game. This thing was a little weird at first, but you got Duron Bland breaking records. You got our guy Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor. You saw Tony Pollard get going on the offensive side of the ball. Had a fantastic 21-yard or 22-yard touchdown run where he showed some. I think he's been actually showing some hard-nosed running ability the last 3 weeks. It's just that it hasn't been the breakout game, and even this game wasn't a breakout game. But he averaged over 5 yards per carry. If it wasn't for that weird Wildcat play, it'd have probably been somewhere around 12 carries, 70 yards or so, and the touchdown on the day. So it was good to see him kind of get some productivity.
And I think fans sometimes you have to put on the lens of a hard run from Zeke looks different than a hard run from Tony Pollard, right?
Yeah,
so when you see it and you're like, man, that was a hard run, and it's like, well, you're like, no, it doesn't look like that, but that's a hard run for someone of his size and his stature to run behind his pads. It's not going to look like the way when Rico runs it or when Zeke used to run it or when Marion Barber did it. It looks different when he runs behind his pads than it does. It doesn't have the same impact and boom that you may hear or see from those other guys, but he's running behind his pads. You saw him break the tackles on the touchdown play. It was like 3 or 4 tackles that he broke to get in the end zone. So again, you want to see that stuff happening. You want to see this, and we predicted or not predicted, but we talked about this game being started the fourth quarter, sitting guys, ball caps, Twizzlers, and sunflower seeds. It eventually got there. It took a little while into the fourth quarter, but we've become sensationalized and a little bit spoiled with the Cowboys really sitting starters for the 6th time.
6th time
in a season. That literally is unheard of.
It's weird.
It's unheard of. I've lived this game. I've covered this game. I've watched this game for a long time, and I can't personally remember. And don't take from me, my brain ain't that good, but I can't remember a time when you saw this is not college football.
No, this doesn't happen.
Just doesn't happen. You look around the league today. You see Detroit having a nail biter, the Texans having a nail biter, Green Bay and San Diego having a nail biter.
Usually how it happens.
It's usually a 1-possession game at the end of the game, whether or not you win or lose. The ability to be up 20 and 30 points in ball games in the National Football League 6 or more times, it just doesn't happen. So that's respect to the Dallas Cowboys for doing what they're supposed to do to teams that are inferior to them.
Yeah, 100%. This is the BT Furnishings post-game show. Let me talk to you guys about our friends down there at BT Furnishings. They make shopping fun, fast, and easy from mattresses to furniture in your house and even decor. BT Furnishings is your one-stop shop for furniture. With their buy more, save more sale going on. Spend $999, you will save $100. You spend $19.99, you will save $300. And of course, we still got the Skywalker special going on where you get a reclining sofa, a love seat, plus a free reclining sofa for only $9.99. So if you're looking for quality furniture at an amazing price, stop into one of the locations today in Arlington, down here, Dallas, Garland, or Plano, or go to btfurnishings.com to furnish every need in your home. And we didn't quite have the recliner early, but we got
you got to make sure if you get the Skywalker special in that recliner that, you might want to wear prophylactic. You might want to wear prophylactic if you get the Skywalker special, that recliner, because your back might not be working to get out the way you need to get out. And just gonna leave it at that.
We're just gonna leave it at that.
You're gonna get the Skywalker special.
If y'all know, this is what we do.
When you stop by BT,
shout out to them.
Shout out to them. When you get the Sky special, stop by the CVS, the Walmart,
whatever you need to go get the protection.
Whatever you go get the protection, because I'm telling you, it's something about them recliners, the Skywalker special, where your back don't quite work and you can't get out in time. You don't hit the eject button in time, and next thing you know,
hey, it's a boy.
It's a boy.
Shouts out to my boy that's coming here. We got one on the way. I have to keep it in the buck. Keep it in the buck. But anyway, back to the game. Dak Prescott, 25
back to the football game.
It was a football game.
It was a football game.
189, 2 touchdowns. Look, I'll give a hat nod to the Panthers secondary. I see why now teams don't just throw for 400 yards on them. They ain't letting you do all that. They want you to dink, 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 dink all the way down the field. And that's pretty much what they were living in. And they said, you know what, you're going to allow us to do that. We'll do that. And then we'll score when we get down to the red zone. They didn't execute earlier in the game in the red zone than they did later on. And they put it away. One of those games, again, where you weren't – once you got to a certain point, you understood, all right, let's just get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's just get this dub and get out of here. This wasn't the Giants game where it's like, we can go for a record. We can get Brandon Cooks involved. They weren't letting you do jack. Yeah. None of that. So, like I said, it was good to see on the other side that you were able to get Tony going on the ground a little bit. And I don't know about you, but did it feel like Mike was trying some things out today?
Yeah, I did. I felt like he got a little gimmicky.
Yeah.
He got into his gimmick bag a little bit. And right, these people are human. Coaches are human. Players are humans. And so sometimes when you feel like you're superior to your opponent, you may bring out different things. And we talked about this before. Sometimes you bring out different things to put it in the mind frame of the people going forward that have to defend you and say, you know what, they did pull this out, so we got to spend some time working on the double reverse.
Put that on there.
Let's put that on there. Let's make sure that we're alert when you see this position, because who knows, next time it may actually be a pitch from Tony Pollard to Dak Prescott for a throwback or something like that. So putting things out there sometimes can be a good thing, but I did feel Mike, he got a little bit,
he was glitching a little bit. We're being honest.
If we're being honest,
he glitching a little bit for keeping it big.
You're like,
it got to a point for me to just take care of the ball, right? Like when Dallas was up 17-3. I mean, again, I never thought at any point, and it's weird because I talked about this on Mo's show. I said I think we're going to be uncomfortably comfortable in this game, meaning we're going to have comfortable leads. I will never feel that this game is not going to be won, but there's going to be a point in time in this game where we're like, that's uncomfortable. And it was the 17-10 when they went down and scored. They get the stop. They get off the field. Sam Williams, running to the kicker? Running to the kicker. They convert the fourth down, a 4th and 3. Adam Thielen converts it on. It seemed like it was both Bland and Wanye. Then they go down and they scored a touchdown. And that's where it kind of got like, here we go. Now they got to go out here and actually score. Well, they did that. So as long as that they do what they're supposed to do against these opponents is what really matters. But I got to a point where I was like, hey, get out of this thing healthy and get out of this thing not all over and developing, like you said, bad habits. Yeah. That's what I was worried about. I don't want this to turn into a bad habit for Mike where it's like we just try and ish out. Right. To me, there's no more opponents on this schedule where you're just going to try stuff out.
I agree. I agree. I think if there's any negative that I have to take from this game is I didn't like the way the Cowboys defended the run early in this football game.
Go, yeah.
I thought they got a little bit careless. I thought, and if for nothing else, understanding why you signed Rashaan Evans, because I'm not that I'm not a fan of Marquise Bell. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of his,
Right.
but there comes a point in time with just, I guess you could say that's what she says, with size matters, right? I mean, because the better football teams will find ways. It's all about matchups.
Sure.
Offensive coordinators want to find matchups where they can exploit different things on the defensive side, and vice versa. Defensive coordinators want to find matchups that they can exploit. That's why you see Micah sometimes line up over the center, and they're in these wide nines type situations. Because if they have to go out there to get those guys, that means Micah has a two-way go with speed, power, and athleticism against a guy who's not really used to working in that kind of space with speed, power, and athleticism. And I just think with Marquise Bell, you can find yourself sometimes in those teams who are good enough to compete with you, and you're not going to be up 17 points, and you're not going to be able to score at will. It's in those moments where if they want to run, can they design runs where now you're putting Marquise Bell in tough situations to be able to shed blocks and go make tackles. So early on in the game, I didn't like the way they defended the run. I thought the Panthers were kind of getting what they wanted, chunk yards. There were a couple of maybe like 3 or 4 10-yard runs.
Let's just be honest. It was the entire game.
Yeah.
The reason why they stopped is because you put the game out of reach. Right. The pick six, Duron Bland tying the record. They could not run it anymore. Not that they were going to run it much anymore after the Cowboys went up. What was it, 27 to 10 or 24 to 10? Was 24 to 10?
17. Yeah, 24 to 10.
It was 24-10. Not that they were going to run it a bunch, but they could have tried to milk the clock a little bit, score. Now it's one possession game. So they didn't stop the run to me all day. There was a few plays made here or there, but that's definitely something. Again, I always say this: you want to be able to take something from a win that you have to work on rather than the loss.
Yes.
Right. So they can go in and watch this film and feel a little bit better about themselves. But one thing I didn't notice today, though, you brought him up, was Rashaan Evans. He may have well been out there, but we had some little issues here. Number one,
shout out to walk-ons.
Number two, I don't even know if he played much. So we'll look at the snap counts. Yep. We'll get the film, and we'll see what happens. But they were definitely doing some power things. They were definitely testing your integrity on the edges. Right? They were doing the RPOs and read options.
Yes.
So the defense will definitely go back and say, okay, we're going to have to clean that up just in case we run into an opponent that decides to do more of that to you. I don't know that it'll be a Sam Howell next week. Geno's not a guy like that or what have you, that they're going to, threaten with the quarterback's legs in that manner. But you may run into a team that happens, right? Philly, for instance, right? So you want to make sure that you're able to deal with it. But
don't count out Sam Howell. Sam Howell,
he can run.
He was a runner. This is showing my North Carolina bias. This is my guy. But Sam Howell, this is a guy who rushed in college for 700-800 yards. So they're not going to RPO they're not going to RPO Sam Howell like that. Sam Howell, he'll scramble, he'll get out of the pocket. He will tuck it and run a lot if the pressure is on him. He's not going to just stand it. Well, he might. He's been sacked.
He's being sacked a whole lot.
So
my point, mine was like the design run, right, where the quarterback is reading and he pulls and he runs. Not that the kid did it today much, but you still had to. You could tell they were just like, whatever. We're not worried about him. So there was opportunities, but I think they game planned it well enough to make sure they got a guy to the second level and they put your defense in a bind, and they were just gashing the Cowboys and we keep it the beam. But we talked about it at halftime. You can do that. That's all fine and dandy. But are you able to punch it in when you need to? And they just weren't able to do that enough. And then when they had to throw, pick six. Yeah. Pick six. Micah, he should be happy today.
He should be.
He got 2 or 3 sacks or whatever. Well, how much what did they credit him for?
2.5, right?
They got him 2.5. Yeah. Him and I think it was J-Ron.
J-Ron Curse.
They combined for the other one. So, Micah got 6 sacks or 6 tackles. 2.5 sacks. Marquise Bell led the team in 10 today, which I bet a lot of those were down the field if I had to think about it. J-Ron was second, and then obviously you had
you know what I've realized, man? And I need to start complaining more. Because every time someone complains, at least in professional sports,
at least in Dallas.
Actually,
we saw it happen in Cincy too.
It happens in Cincy. It happened in Philadelphia with A.J. Brown.
Very early. Yeah.
I'm just gonna start complaining. I'm just going to start. In fact,
but closed mouths don't get fed.
Zach, if you're listening.
Hold on, I got my bite. Hold on, I got you. Zach, if you're listening.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Yeah, I'm just going to start complaining and see if I can get things to work in my favor.
Hey, I learned that. I actually learned that in this industry. Closed mouths don't get fed.
Boy, let me tell you something.
That's all I'm saying.
If you don't speak up for yourself, they're like, oh, that's fine. Next thing you know, you're like, wait a second, how money going over there? Oh, okay.
I'm doing more and not getting less.
Let me. So Mikey complained last week, didn't have a really good outing and pounded a little bit, and 2.5 sacks today. He showed up today.
He was a part of the party.
Yes.
The Bryce Young got sacked 7 times today, threw the pick 6, only 123 yards. And again, this doesn't shock me. I didn't expect Bryce Young to do anything major in this game, to be honest. Just like I didn't expect Danny's little brother, Tommy DeVito, to do anything. And I thought that the secondary played well against Matt Stafford a few weeks before that. And they just had a bad 2 quarters, I think, the first quarter and the third quarter against the Eagles, where it really, they put that game, not a game away, but they got that lead in the third quarter. For the most part, though, your defense, they did what they had to do today. Clean it up and get back out there, because the Commanders are not going to make it easy.
Look, I do want to take a second and just kind of give a little bit more flowers to Duron Bland. And this is not a pat myself back on the moment, but, there is something to be said for a guy who hasn't even finished his second season in this league, and he's already at 11 interceptions.
Yeah.
And already in a season he has 4. I think, didn't he have one last year or 2 last year?
I don't remember. I don't think he had any pick 6s last year.
But
4 though. 1 is what people get in a career.
Exactly.
That's and I think, again, shouts out to Vosh. He would say, let's not be numb to greatness. I think we kind of like, oh, hey, Duron Bland picks it. We just move on. Like, nah, man, this ain't normal either.
This is not normal. 4
pick 6s in the first 10, 11 games. What are we, 7? 10 games.
Yeah.
4 pick 6s in the first 10 games is absurd.
And a lot of people thought when Trayvon Diggs went out that there were going to be this major void. And I remember telling people and talking about it, I said, you don't replace Trayvon Diggs, you adjust to not having him.
Right.
And I think what they've done is they've made a major adjustment to not having Trayvon Diggs, but the guy that's in his place
is more than
was
capable.
was just as ball hawkish as Trayvon.
Literally. Let's be honest.
At this point in time,
in a year and a half.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
crazy.
So you go from one cornerback.
11 picks, my bad.
You go from one cornerback that had double-digit interceptions in a season
to another that might do
another one that, if he does, he may have 5 picks, 6s in the season. Like you said, dudes who wear yellow jackets
don't do that.
Who have yellow jackets. Some of them dudes probably don't even have. I'll look it up, but to have 5 in a career pick 6s is exceptional.
Yeah.
So shout out to Duron Bland, man. That's not something you just kind of gloss over for what he's doing. And I don't know if it'll equate to a first team All-Pro.
It should.
It should. It really should, especially if this team gets into the playoffs. This should result in something. And for those that are asking, no, he can't get a deal done.
Nope.
No, the Cowboys can't sign him to a deal right now because of where he's at in his season, that he's only been here for a year and a half.
So actually be thankful. You 5th round pick, you got him on this. You got him for 3 years at least. They can technically extend him if they wanted to. I doubt it. There's no need to. And they can get him 4 years for the cheap. And he's probably going to play well above that. Now, I would reward him after the 3rd year. I'm pretty sure, barring injury, he'll have another good year and reward him and not have it kick in until like a little bit later. But that's contract talk. We're talking.
But he'll make some money this year because he'll get those over the player performance bonuses. Guys who aren't expected to play that many snaps. When you go from being a backup, relegated to a backup role, and now you're playing more snaps than you're expected to play. So definitely, if he makes a first team All-Pro, I'm sure there's a bonus in there for that. I'm sure there's a bonus in there for the interceptions, playoffs, and I'm sure there'll be a bonus in there for him on the player performance bonus. So shout out to Duron Bland, man. God bless you, brother. You're doing a fantastic job.
You're gonna need to pack that bag, take this swag and this performance into next week, because I know Thanksgiving, 4 days, Thanksgiving at home, and it's just Washington divisional rival. They have Eric Bieniemy. How is look? He's not. I'm not saying he's John Elway or anything like that, but he's throwing the ball around a lot, and I think they lead the league in yards per game or something like that. and they have some weapons on the outside. So Thursday is going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge that
Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin.
Terry.
I'm a fan
Logan
of
Thomas.
Terry. Logan Thomas. They have some things that challenge you both vertically, intermediately, route running, size, speed, catching ability. And again, when you add the mix of Eric Bieniemy,
they got some concepts, bro.
Formulating a plan.
You know, some concepts.
And we always, like, when we're watching film for someone else, we always kind of pitch. Me too. I'm like,
I was looking the Eagles game specifically. Yeah, I'm saying, hey,
okay,
he beat his bag right now.
All right, let me get back over here to what I got to do. But
I actually I saved it. I didn't even delete it. I'm keeping it because I know I'm gonna go back and watch this in a few weeks. So, we're looking ahead because it's a big matchup, and we're going to be talking about it obviously Thursday, possibly. Not quite sure how we're going to do that. We won't be here. We won't be here Thursday. I'm not sure if we're going to be covering the game at home or not. Either way, it's a game that's big. I talked about it last week. I don't care if Washington's bad, if Carolina's bad, if the New York Giants are bad. You put yourself in a position where you have to win these games, win them comfortably so you can get some rest, because this is the first leg of that 3-game stand in 12 days. And it's important to get in there, get out of there healthy, clean, playing some good ball. And main ingredient there is be healthy and get the dub. That is the main one. So they got the one down. They got to strap it up, get on that plane. In this situation, I don't know how many times you played 12 on the road and flew back. They're probably, I know coaches are. You think players are now starting to prep? I know it's very early and it's right off the plane, but how much time do they really? They got like 3 days.
The turnaround is quick. And I'm going to be honest with you. There was some prepping going on during this week for next week. Yeah. Coaching wise, kind of putting little tidbits in players' ears. Guys have been doing things for their body wise, like, setting up extra massages, putting things in place, because the player side of things, you have to understand, we're so programmed on our weekly routine in between practices and what we're doing to get ourselves ready. When you interrupt that in this type of mix where you're playing on Sunday and then playing right back again in 3 or 4 days later, now everything is sped up. So the time that you get to normally rest your body, because again, now Monday essentially becomes
practice. That's
Wednesday.
A real practice day.
You're right. Like Monday becomes Wednesday, Tuesday becomes Thursday,
the Wednesday walk,
and Wednesday becomes a combination of Friday, Saturday. Right. And so normally the guys who take time off, there's going to be more guys taking time off. So the attention to detail, that's why I'm talking about not building bad habits. Yeah. Because there won't be actual on the field physical practice time. You just can't do it. There's no way you can have on the field padded practices during this time. No. So it's going to be a lot of walkthrough, a ton of meetings, and now leaning on your veteran guys to be mentally locked into what the game plan is. And that's the hard part. The hard part is when you don't get a chance to go out there, because some guys can sit there and you can give them a pad and a pen and you can put it on the board and they get it. Some guys literally have to go out on the football field and kind of really do the physical reps, understand it. And those are the little things that when you go into a game on a short week, can we be disciplined? Can we be assignment alignment sound? Can we be attention to details? Because that team's going to be coming in here ready to knock you off. Yes. And any little mistakes against a team that's better. I'm not saying that the Commanders are. It's a better team than the last two opponents. It just is. Yeah. And the way they can scheme things up offensively, you watch moments in this game and you're going, oh, we had some moments in there where Adam Thielen got going a little bit and had some moments we couldn't stop the running game. So it's like you look at those things and say, how can we close those gaps without having the physical practice of this week heading into that match in last week? So it's going to be a lot of mental focus that has to play its part this week for the Cowboys.
100%. And again, we'll have it covered throughout the week. Yes. On your shows. Yes. On my respective shows tomorrow morning, we'll be talking about this victory and then really turn the page very quickly. Very quickly. Very possible we'll look at some film tomorrow if we can, but we got to turn the page to Washington because that's going to be a big matchup. And the second part of this 3-game run. So Cowboys Nation, make sure you stick around. If you don't know where to find Jesse's work, Jesse will tell you here though.
Man, you can find me every single day, Monday through Friday, on Hanging with the Boys over at DallasCowboys.com, 1 p.m. Central. You can also catch me on Believe with the Cowboys Mondays and Fridays with Jeff Kavanaugh. You can catch me on my podcast. This is really, really important. On my podcast called Unfiltered with Jesse Holley. I shoot that 3 times a week over on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Mr. Fourth and Long. Unfiltered with Jess and Holley on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, I'm here every Thursday or Monday or Sunday or whenever the hell the Cowboys.
I think it's a Saturday game.
Whenever the hell the Cowboys are playing, I'm rocking out with bro. A to Z Sports Dallas. You already know what it is.
Yes, sir. Like I said, I'll be up tomorrow. We'll be talking about this game, and then we'll probably do a few shows with Vach on Vach Lombardi Live on his channel, talking about it as well. So good stuff today. We got the victory.
Yep.
It was comfortable. You got a chance to get guys out. Now it's time for us to do the same thing they do, is get to the crib, a little bit of rest, and get right back into this thing.
Absolutely.
Next week, man. And, you know, when you get the dub, you get a little bit of a flex game going on in Cowboys Nation. We'll see y'all this week, man. We out of here. Love y'all to death. Been in the gym, huh?
Yeah. You see that thing, baby? Let's go.